Hey y'all, what's up? Man, February 1st, right? January was a hell of a year, wasn't it? I saw somebody post that. January was a hell of a year. Woo! How did we get by January? You guys, welcome to Burgundy Blue Commentary, where we talk about what we want to talk about when we're ready to talk about it. So, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. Hit the like button. And if you can, channel support is in the chat. You don't have to do anything. That's just, your girl, a small channel. I really don't monetize and get anything. But I think if I was like anti-Tiffany all the time, I could. So that's my fault, not y'all. So you decide. Y'all decide.
I could. So that's
sorry,
my
y'all.
fault, not y'all. So you
Hold
decide.
on, I was trying to set that up. Y'all decide to support me that way or not. I love you guys. Hit the like button. It's free. It's Black History Month. It's Black History all year, every year. It's history all year, every year here on Burgundy Blue Commentary, because that's what we love to talk about. Let me say my hellos. We're going to get into this YouTube video, and I thought it was a good way to like break the ice to talk about the first public official, the first Black public official in Dolton. Because, you know, this is the thing. No one likes to talk about the history. Like yesterday, we got to talk about Miss Kim and how she ran for mayor. And people, the first time they didn't let her in, right? And then other people started paying her to run. I don't know if Big Mike, you remember that Miss Kim Hoes with Attitude? She was running for mayor of Dalton. She owned the Joe River Center, and they were trying to take her building. And if you don't know, that building is still vacant to this day. So it was some validity somewhere in there. I don't know what it was because I'm not in the back room, but it makes me think, So if you didn't know, your girl, I'm only in my 40s, and yes, Tiffany definitely is right. When she came out here, she's younger than me. So if she's saying that when she went on her block, it was all her friends were white or Latino or something like that, she's absolutely right. My best friend was Filipino growing up, and then my second best friend, she was Polish. I didn't have too many. It wasn't a lot of Black people out here when we moved out here. Maybe one or two. And then they started to come more and more and more. And now if I see someone that's Polish walking down the street, I'm like, what are they okay? They lost? What they doing over here? Not to say it's not other nationalities here in Dolton. It certainly is. But it wasn't like that. Early 90s, late 80s. I really don't know any Black people that got here in the 70s. If you were here in the 70s or 80s, you were pretty special. We were here in the 80s, but mid to late 80s. If you were Black and here in the 70s, I think it's only one person in Dolton. Her name is Miss Kennedy. I want to say she's been here. I did an interview with her before. I want to say she's been here 48 years. I would say she's been here. Wait a minute, not 48. Yeah, I would say she's been here 48 years. And the way she got her house, and this is no shade, it was like they had to fight for it and they paid double. And I believe her husband was in the military. So it was not always easy for Black people to move into Dolton. So let me do this intro. Let me say hello first. Big Mike, hey, you here? I remember speaking to one of his daughters when he died. Oh, it was so unexpected because he ran for mayor the little less than a year prior, and I had just seen him at Food for Less. It was unexpected. He was very quiet. He wasn't really a showman, right? Hey, Scott, good to see you. Brandon, what's up? Hello, everybody. Hey, Delta. Okay, let's get into the video today, you guys. This is very interesting. Black History Month. I just want to give Ronnie Lewis his flowers as the first Black official here in Dolton. I remember we'll talk about it. Let's start. I had a little preview for you guys so we can have a little. Now, this is the thing, Big Mike. I went to the library. I can't find no archives of William Shaw. I always tell people William and I'm older now, but 20 years ago, I was very intimidated by both of them, the mayor and the commissioner. The commissioner was meaner than the mayor to me. Big Mike, if you knew them, you could say that. But Bill had to be the little brother probably, because Robert was way more flashy. That's Bob right here. I found so many videos of Bob, so much statements from Bob. I couldn't find anything from William. I couldn't find anything for William. Oh, okay. I'm a timestamp. The UIC library on the 3rd floor. Let me write that down. Hold on. UIC. Thank you. Y'all, we got a list. Look, we have a whole list over here. Someone gave me like a Padfolio, And I got all of the things y'all say. I put it down so we can revisit them. So subscribe, be here on the channel. Yeah, it's really, and now Mayor Hart, I know a lot of people loved him as a mayor. Not so much Peck. Peck wasn't loved as a mayor, but Hart was loved as a mayor. And you guys, after Hart came the Shaws, and the Shaw mayor Bill Shaw was the first black mayor. Now, in my head, now that I'm a adult Burgundy, I feel like maybe his big brother did kind of guide him. I always saw Bill a little more quieter than Bob. But so just so you know, this is not Bill. This is not the mayor, but this is the closest we got, and they look alike. Okay. So let's play the video. Love you guys, and then we'll get to the content. My oh my, how things change. Thank you, Scott. Scott said, I learned so much from this channel. Love how people can share information such where people can find specific and niche historical information. So this video won't be this long because I don't know much about him. Now, I do know that Mayor Ronnie Lewis had hot water, like he was in hot water. That's one of the issues of the Dorchester came about. But right now, let's talk about how he got there. So Ronnie C. Lewis, he was the head trustee, but not just the head trustee. He was around longer. Hold on, let me pull this picture up. I'm so sorry. So this is Mayor Shaw. I don't want to show any disrespect. So this is Bill Shaw. And so Bill Shaw was the first black mayor to be over Dolton, Illinois. You guys, before Tiffany, we only had one, two, technically, Big Mike, if you're still here, would I say 2 elected mayors and 1 appointed mayor? So I would say that so Bill Shaw was the first black mayor. Then Ronnie Lewis was appointed because Bill Shaw passed away. Then we had Riley Rogers, who was a trustee. Now, this is a good question. I'm sorry, you guys, this is a live. I do not know much about Riley Rogers. Was he appointed when Lewis died, or did he win the election? Let me see. Riley H. Rogers. Did he? If anyone can help me out in the comments. Yeah, the song was intentional. Yep. Oh, I cannot. You know what? I'm sorry, you guys. I wasn't prepared for that. But for some reason, I feel like Ronnie Lewis passed away, and then Riley, because Riley was a trustee, and then Riley was appointed. But let's go back to trustee, first black mayor of Dolton. I'm sorry, first black elected official of Dolton, period. He was the first. He also went over to that lake, you guys, to try to get a membership, and they told him no. They told him absolutely no. So before you guys come too hard on Tiffany, sometimes it's like, I wish that people would look into the history and see how far sorry guys, how far it was that it even came to be that we had a black mayor, period. It was only in Tiffany Henry lifetime. Okay. In her lifetime. It was not the thing that this could happen. And even today, we don't even have any. That's why when people be like, why do people bring up race? And why do people say stuff about race? And um it's not important. It is important. It is. And I'm not saying that you have to be black to run. I think we should be more diverse, but we just don't have a diverse community. So let me go ahead and read Riley Rogers. I'm so sorry. Ronnie Lewis, he was an educator too. So I believe he was over in Harlan High School, but let's talk about it. Let's just read his bio. So he was born in Lexington, Mississippi in 1944, and he earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Industrial Education from Tennessee State University. In 1966, he moved to Chicago with his wife, where he worked in the Chicago public school system. He then earned a Master's of Art degree from Roosevelt University in Administration and Supervision. Okay, that was very good. Very impressive. In the late 1970s, he moved to Dolton. Now that's impressive. Wow. In 1991, he was appointed by Mayor Michael Peck to fill a vacancy on the village board, becoming Dolton's first Black public official. In 2000, he retired from his position as an assistant principal in Chicago Public Schools. They don't list the school, but I think it was Harlan High School, guys. I believe it was Harlan High School. He was re-elected to the village board through 2008 until he was named as interim mayor after the death of Mayor William Shaw on November the 6th, 2008. On February 24, 2009, he defeated Democratic rival Riley Rogers in a primary election with 55% of the vote. In 2009, he won the general election to a fourth term as mayor. Again, y'all, Dolton has a low turnout with 1,650 votes, defeating Ernest Mickens. Okay, I know Mr. Mickens. He had 514 votes. Charlie Calvin, I don't know him, 145 votes. Sharon Wiley, 84 votes. I don't know her either. It'll be interesting to look into her though. As another woman that ran. We don't have many women that run. While Ronnie Lewis was mayor, he focused on attracting business to Sibley Boulevard. In 2012, he sought to annex the entire Land and Lakes Company Riverbend Prairie landfill. So if you guys don't know, you ever drive into, for people that are listening, if you ever drive into Dolton, when you drive in from Chicago, it's like this weird smell, and that's the landfill. It's located on Chicago and Dolton. To Dolton after Chicago imposed restrictions on landfill operations in Chicago. He argued it would create jobs for Dolton and had the support of the village board. His efforts were rendered moot after Governor Pat Quinn, siding with environmentalists, implemented legislation that would impose similar restrictions statewide. Now, I'm going to pause there because I'm not a big I love history, but I'm not into politics. But if I'm not mistaken, Pat Quinn backed Riley Rogers. So that could have been why he said no. That used to be our old governor. In 2009, he initiated an investigation over the finances of the Dorchester Center, a former Ramada Inn that the suburb had converted into a residence hall for lower income seniors during the Shaw administration, and its contract with Shaw's son, of the former mayor's son, who firm had been paid $1.4 million from 2006 to 2008 to oversee the project. Okay, so Mayor Shaw's son, I won't get into that because he resigned. And then when Mayor Shaw's son resigned, guess what Ronnie did? He appointed his daughter to oversee the project. Ronnie Lewis indicated he needed someone at the Dorchester who could trust, and the deal was approved with the mayor and 3 of 6 trustees voting for the contract. In 2013, oh, he did. Okay, so he was defeated in his bid for re-election by Riley Rogers. So Riley did win against him. So a year after he ran for re-election, he died on December 3rd, 2014 of a heart attack. He was survived by his wife Mary and his 2 daughters, Angelique and Angeline. Oh, those are pretty names. Okay. So let's go to this really cool article. It says educator was the suburb's first Black official, and that's what I had in my thumbnail, and I want to really read that. It was by the Tribune, and Gregory Tejeda wrote it. It says Ronnie Lewis was a longtime educator in Chicago public schools when he became the South Suburban Dolton's first African American local government official, untimely rising to the post of mayor. Mr. Lewis, who was 69 when he died on Wednesday, December 3rd, following a heart attack at his home, according to family members, became a part of Dolton government in 1991 when he was appointed, like we said, by Mayor Peck. He kept getting reelected as village trustee post through 2008. That's a long term. Right now, you guys, Dolton has a 2-term limit, which I think adds more fuel to and Riley Rogers put that in place for the trustees. And I think that really, and shout out to Big Mike, he definitely pointed that out to me. At first, I didn't even understand what that meant. Now I do. It really it's changing the game, because you know what? Let's just keep it 100%, 1000%. If Jason doesn't win mayor, he has to get appointed to a job, or not appointed, but they're probably gonna offer him a job. Just for instance, I think Jason's gonna win, but Tiffany has a lot of support on the street, and some of the antics that's going on right now, people are really feeling bad for Tiffany Henyard because it's like looking weird. I'm just telling you what the streets are saying. So, when you look at this 2-term limit, Jason he's aged out of his term, just like Tiffany was aged out of her term, and they pushed her on to being a mayor. So I think that's really a problem, where people start to panic at the end of their 8 years. Where we see someone like Ronnie Lewis, he was able to go from 1991 to 2008, and he would have still been getting reelected and collecting that check and that insurance because he was popular within the area. Okay. So let's continue, you guys. He kept getting reelected, right? So then in November, that's when Mayor Shaw died. And so it says in November that year of William Shaw, from whom Mr. Lewis once said he learned a lot about governing, according to a news report. Now, Mayor Shaw was he a state senator, I believe? We'll have to cover him this month. But yes, he was in the Senate. Mr. Lewis was elected to his own mayoral term in 2009 and remained in the top post until he lost a re-election bid in 2013 to current mayor Riley Rogers. He served the village well. He was an elected official for a long time. That's what Riley Rogers said. He's well liked by a lot of people in the village. Not him. Rogers said Dolton officials were considering a tribute to Mr. Lewis' memory, but he wants to consult with his family first. Mr. Lewis moved to Dolton from Chicago in the late 1970s, his daughter Angelique said. He spent 3 decades at Chicago public schools before retiring in 2000 as assistant principal at Harlan Community Academy. I thought it was Harlan. I thought it was. His daughter said, Mr. Lewis moved to Dolton with his wife Mary because he thought the community was a nice place to raise his twin daughters. My dad always said he was pleased that he was able to purchase a home for his family in a nice, safe community. Y'all, that almost made me that gave me chills. That's what people thought back then. This was a nice, safe community. This is where you wanted to raise your family. This is where young people, my parents came here when they were in their 30s. Yeah. They wanted to raise their children, their early 30s, like 30 something, 32. They wanted to raise their children in a nice, safe community. They wanted to retire and pay their houses off and stay here, and look at what's happening. Like, those of you guys from the outside looking at this, just look what's happening. It's not a joke. These are real people. Okay. During his time as mayor, Mr. Lewis took pride in several businesses that located along the South Suburban Village business strip on Sibley Boulevard, including Food for Less. Big Mike told us that he brought Food for Less here, and CVS Pharmacy. Oh, that closed fast, but he did bring it here. In 2012, Land Lakes tried to have its Riverbend Prairie landfill, which was in both Dolton and Chicago, annexed entirely into the suburb to get around restrictions against landfill operations in Chicago. Now, I would have to ask someone that's more experienced in this. Maybe this would have helped us with the water bill. If we could have bargained with Chicago with that landfill is horrible. It's such a bad smell. And I have a friend that has a house like on 127th, and she tries to rent it out, but it smells so bad over there. Okay. The General Assembly and Governor Pat Quinn said no, right? It was during Mr. Lewis's mayoral term that the village officials tried awarding a $1 million contract to a company run by his daughter to operate the Dorchester Center, a one-time Ramada Inn. Remember we went over to Dorchester and it used to have a pool on the rooftop? It did. It was really cool. Okay. And that did not go over well, y'all. And you know, the Dorchester, we're still trying to sell it to this day, right? I don't know why, because it's now called Royal Estates, but I digress. Okay, so we read about he earned his Master of Arts from Roosevelt, and he had his funeral at another historical young man we talk about. That's Mr. Leak. And that's it. I just want to bring you some insight on Ronnie Lewis and give him his flowers for what he tried to do during the time he was here in Dolton. And he left a legacy. So we technically wouldn't be walking around at Food for Less, you guys, without Ronnie Lewis. So that's a plus, and it has stand the test of time. All right, you guys, this is just a short video. I love you guys. I had nothing more, but I just wanted to show you guys how things have changed since the time he was there. Okay? Since the time he was there to now. To now. 3 mayors. Look at where we are now. Y'all take care of yourself and each other. I love you guys. And thank you, Scott. And you guys, I'll be back with another video. I just wanted to jump in, and you'll get a Black History Month video every day from me. All right. Bye, guys.
Commentary Blue Commentary Burgundy Commentary Comment Blue Commentary Comment Burgundy Blue